anime, hand-drawn and computer animation originating from Japan. Tunji Talks presents Anime Talk. Hello, and I am here with Jameisha. Jameisha, how are you doing?
I'm not bad. How are you? Thanks for
Um,
having me.
no worries. Just before we get started, so we're kind of like in a second lockdown at the minute. And what have you been doing just to kind of like keep yourself busy?
I've been working, to be honest. Like, I didn't stop working from the first lockdown. The type of work I do is basically news. So we were covering Corona. So you didn't like, there was no stop. So for me, for the second one, it hasn't really felt any different. I've just been in my room, barely leaving, working. And that was like that before we started lockdown. So for me, it's been about the same.
Let's get into the main bulk of today's discussion. So we are talking about anime because we're both anime fans and we so just out of curiosity, how did you get into anime? Do you remember?
I do remember, and it's such a like random story, but I used to like watch weird stuff on YouTube. Not weird, but like just random videos. And then I came across like I was looking for a song by Coldplay at the time, and then somebody had made like a video where it was the Coldplay song, but they had used like clips from this anime to illustrate the video. And like, while the song was cool, I was like, what is this? Like this, whatever this thing is, like that looks so cool. Like, so I tried to find what anime it was. I didn't even know it was anime. I just was like, okay, I want to just watch this thing. It was that one was called. It was called Please Teacher. It was like some random. It's not even very popular. I started watching it, and then from then I was like, okay, cool. I've just finished that now. Now I need more of this. I just need to watch more. So I actually had a friend of mine whose parents were into it as well, and then they had this list, and they were like, "Yeah, go to this website, go to this website, you watch it here," and then from there, pretty much all the kind of obsessed really.
And what interests you the most about anime?
I think the thing that interests me the most is that it is so vast. Like there is something for everyone. Like it's not one genre. There are so many different types and quite specific. Like there's really specific types where, you know, like you've got like a certain types of romance anime that are slice of life that are this, and they're usually targeted at this age demographic. I don't really find that level of specificity in Western cartoons or Western animation. I don't find that level of like just like specific genres, and that's what I love. Like I might not like magical girl flying across the sky like with lasers and stuff. That's not my thing, but that's fine because there's so much that I can um enjoy, and for all different age demographics, you know what I mean, like, you know, you don't age out of it. You can still be 20 something and watch one that's designed for kids, but there's some for full grown adults, and I just found that like really cool, and there wasn't really a stigma. Well, maybe there is a stigma to some degree, but I felt less of a stigma of feeling like I was too old for it, which
Yeah,
I really liked.
I think that's kind of like there's kind of like a stereotype around cartoons that they're kind of like they're childish, and like you say, anime
Yeah,
doesn't do that because of the genres and whatnot.
yeah,
Um,
I think so.
from the time I've watched anime, I've always felt it feels like a little bit grown up as well,
Yeah,
and I kind
yeah.
of like that.
Yeah, I think so. I agree with you. Like, I do feel like it didn't pan. They didn't go, "Hey, how are you?" It didn't feel like that. It felt, I don't know. It did feel a little bit more mature, maybe too mature, depending on the genre. But you know what I mean. I like that too.
Do you tend to watch the anime TV shows, or do you watch the movies as well?
Tend to watch TV shows more than movies. I do watch movies sometimes, but not often. I mean, obviously you've got Studio Ghibli or like, you know, which some people even go to the extent as where they feel like it's not anime, but I mean, whatever. But like I do watch a movie from time to time, but I just love a series. And I think it's because it lasts longer. It's like bites. So I can kind of like stop when I want to, and I can still kind of feel fulfilled by the end of an episode, as opposed to a movie where you kind of have to sit there for a while. But you know, there have been some excellent movies that I've watched, like Akira or like The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. But yeah, I'm a series girl for sure.
Do you hear about the the 4K edition of Akira that they put in cinemas?
Heard about it. Heard about it. I haven't seen it, but I don't even know if it's out yet. But I have heard about it.
Okay, okay. And just for anyone who's watching, who's like a novice to anime, what kind of like 3 animes would you recommend to a novice just to bring them into the anime world?
Oh, that's really hard because you know, it's like you might be a genre type person, or yeah, that's hard. Okay, let me think. I think I would always recommend Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I will always recommend that one, just simply because I think it's just written beautifully. Like it's written well, and it's something that I think people can kind of like get into and kind of like for your first one. Yeah, for your first one, I think that's one where it's not too niche. It is quite broad-ish, but it's not as like obvious as something like Naruto or uh, Dragon Ball Z. So I'd say Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I know this one's quite bait and it's quite popular, but I would even say Attack on Titan because I just think it's dope. And I
Yeah.
think it's very easy to just get into that one. Like Attack on Titan is excellent in my opinion. And then let me step away from like shonen because I think I've said 2 shonen. So let me think of something that's not shonen. Oh, I would say this one called Nana. It's a romance, it's a shoujo romance anime. But that one, once again, written beautifully. And I think it's a good starter for someone who might be not used to some of the wackier tropes in anime. It's a bit more grown up. It's a bit more like, it's for your girl, a woman in her 20s. Yeah, so I'd say those 3. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Attack on Titan, and Nana, those 3.
Okay.
What would you recommend? What would you recommend?
Well, okay.
Yeah, I'm flipping back on you.
Definitely, I would recommend Death Note.
Mm-hmm.
I loved
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But because there's like 2 seasons of that, I'll probably advise someone to watch like season 1 and don't feel that you're missing out on season 2 because season 2, in my opinion, wasn't that good, but season 1 was phenomenal. My Hero Academia, I feel that's kind of like so light-hearted and like really relatable.
Okay.
And One Piece, because I feel One Piece is just like that's just amazing.
I really struggle to get into it because there's so many episodes.
Every time I mention like One Piece, like that's what everyone brings up. Like when I say, I think I'm on like 952, episode
Yeah.
952, and when I mention that to people, like, no, it's just too much, and like just watch it in like little chunks, and you'll just watch it in chunks, and you'll get to
I
the
feel
end.
like it'll take a year. It feel like take a year to catch up.
But like, how about like people watch like Dragon Ball? Like they go back to the beginning and watch like Dragon Ball like all the time. And
True, true, true. Yeah, that's true.
but maybe it's because like it's still ongoing and it hasn't ended, kind of thing. Maybe
And
that.
there's no end in sight.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's a good list though, I think. That's a good list.
Talking about like no end in sight, I actually read an article yesterday, and the creator said like he will end it when like Luffy's story ends. Like whenever it ends, it will end. He has no kind of like. I don't think I don't think he knows where it's going to end yet. So it'll probably just come to him one day when Luffy finds the One Piece somewhere.
Fair enough. I respect the creative process of that.
So this is the big one. Are you a dubbed person or are you a subbed person? Or do you do
I'm
both?
both.
Oh, okay.
I'm really both. Like I used to be that girl. I was like, nah, why are you listening to dub? Like I was that person before, definitely. But I really am both. To be honest, I really encourage people to just use the one that makes them enjoy it more. Personally, it depends on the context. So if I'm paying attention to it and I'm sitting up and I'm like watching it, I will most likely use a sub, just because when it gets dubbed, they've got to obviously fit the mouth movement. So sometimes what they're saying is completely different, or it doesn't quite have the same impact, which
Yeah.
is important. However, if I'm tired, you know what I mean, I'm lying in bed and I might fall asleep even, I can't be looking at reading it. Like I can't just, you know what I mean? Like if I'm tired and not feeling well, or sometimes I'll put an anime on while I'm working because I need noise. I can't work in silence. I need something. So I'll put like the anime next to me while I'm doing my work. I need a dub because obviously if I have the sub, I'm not going to be doing my work. I'm going to be reading the subtitles and then like doing that. So yeah, I have the dub. However, I highly recommend that if you're gonna have the dub, put the subtitles on as well, because the dub will say something different and the subs will translate what the Japanese version is saying, and it is interesting to see probably what was intended and what was actually said. So I highly recommend if you're going to do that.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So when you have subtitles, when you watch a dub, they'll sometimes say something, and like, because usually in dubs they don't swear that much,
Yeah.
whereas like in a sub in Japanese, like they will like say a swear word, and so you'll be like, oh, what the fuck, and it'll be like, oh my god, what the hell, and you'll see the difference, and it's like, oh, okay, that's what you actually intended for them to say, but that's how it changed. So, yeah, I would recommend doing that.
I think that surprised me the most when I started watching like subs was like the swearing.
Yeah.
It kind of like changes the context of the situation as well, which is
Yeah,
like really interesting.
definitely, definitely, yeah. But I'm definitely. What are you? Which one? Which one are you?
Like you, I kind of like started off with dubbed, then now I'm both from like dubbed and subbed. Um, Again, like it started because of like One Piece, like the dubbed episodes like stopped for like a year. So
Mm.
like I'm tired of waiting. Let me just go and subs. And at first it was a little bit strange, but I got used to it. So
Yeah,
and now I watch like some animes just in sub now.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
And also, to be honest, like it depends on the voice acting. So for some anime, like I do need to listen to it in Japanese because I just want to hear that voice. But have you heard Goku in Japanese?
no.
Like, have you heard that? It's awful. It's a, well, so let me be rude, yeah, but I believe in Dragon Ball, a woman voices Goku
Yeah.
in the Japanese version. So he has a really high pitched voice. Like it's really high pitched, as opposed to the English one where I'm used to it being like Goku, his voice is all low. When I heard the dub, I was like, the sub, I was like, no, 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 I can't watch Dragon Ball Z in subs. I actually can't. I actually cannot because it's just weird because Goku's all high pitched and like, no, no, no. So it does depend on the voice, like acting. Like sometimes if I can't stand someone's voice, I'm gonna put it in whichever I prefer.
What, in your opinion, is the best anime of all time?
That is a hard question. I will give some kind of an answer, but I don't even like. I feel this question's unfair in general because it's just like there's so many good ones, and there's as I said, they're so different, so it's hard to like compare different genres to each other. But let me think.
Okay, if
Best
not
of
of
all
all
time.
time, your favorite.
My favorite.
Yeah, that's good.
Even that's hard to me. To be honest, I'm gonna cheat a little bit and say two, if that's all right. I'm gonna cheat
Okay,
and say
yeah.
two. Okay. So my favorite when it comes to like shonen, like that kind of actiony, boyishy type is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, simply because I've read the manga. It really beautifully illustrated the manga in animated form, but also it's one of the few anime series where I feel like it truly rounded off the ending perfectly. Like it's satisfying ending. That's important to me. There's so many that they're really good, but the ending is kind of like, ugh, that left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. But this one was the first one where I was like, it was a happy ending, but there was still lots of loss. It wasn't a perfect ending for the characters, so you kind of felt emotional. Like, you know, I was low-key like, I might shed a little tear for the characters. Like, wow, you know, they went through a lot. And then you'll laugh at this other one, but okay. So when people ask me what my favorite one is, I usually tell them that Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. However, between you and me, and it's not really between you and me because other people are going to be watching this, but I'm a massive sucker for soppy, cringy romance anime. I'm not even a romantic person in real life, but for some reason, so there's one that I fell in love with called Itazuranakis. Sadly, the manga artist passed away. She never got a chance to finish it. She died in the middle of it. But then the guys who made the anime, they finished it for her with her notes. And it's just this cringy, this girl fancies this guy in school, he's rude to her, her house falls down with her dad, and then they find out that their parents are friends, and she moves in with the family. And then for the whole series, she's chasing him, he doesn't want her, and then at the last minute, he realizes, this is the girl I wanted all along. And then they get married and have kids. I know, very cringe, basic. I'm a basic bitch for that, but it's just one that has a special place in my heart. So that's my other favorite.
You mentioned something interesting, that the creator of that anime died.
Yeah.
And I've had a conversation about this before, about like the people who make the anime, like they get burnt out incredibly quickly because of the turnout rate.
Yeah.
Do you think that's the fault of the fandom, that we demand too much of the creators?
Very good question. I think it's a combination because, like I think the fandom put a lot of pressure on the creators, but that pressure can't exist if it's not for the companies and the studios that feed into that pressure and then pressure the artist. Because, for example, everybody was pressuring George R.R. Martin to finish his damn books, and he still ain't finished them. We can pressure all we like, but if you know what I mean. But if the system doesn't pressure the artist, then they're not gonna, like, it is what it is. We still ain't got those 2 books from him, and Game of Thrones done finished long time, and everyone's pissed off. So I do think there is a pressure from the fandom, because anime fans can be really, really, like aggressive. But I do think it's more so structurally the system, the capitalist nature of anime, and the systems of the production companies that put, like, work these mangakas and work these anime producers like they're machines, and they're not. They're humans. So yeah, I think it's somewhat like to do with us, but I also think a big part of that is the studios not viewing them as human beings and viewing them as cash cows. Because me personally, I'm patient. I can wait. I can be a bit. I'll be annoyed with myself. I'll be like, he needs to hurry up. But I'm never gonna, like, pressure an artist to finish their work. But maybe that's because both of you and I are both like creative people, so we know what that's like. That pressure can be like. So if someone's taking their time, as long as it's good, as long as I know I'm getting quality when you finish it, I'll wait. But if I'm getting quality, I'll wait. I'll be like, I'll sit here. That's fine. How long do you need? Fine. When it comes and it's good, I'm like, see, this is why we wait.
And last question for you. What is your take on live action remakes of anime? So like we had the Death Note remake, we had an Attack on Titan remake, we had and I think the most famous one, like the Dragon Ball remake.
You're just trying to make me shout. You're just trying to make me shout. I mean, to this day, I have not seen one that is good, in my opinion, personally, to this day, like, I've not seen one that's good. I don't know why they're so bad. I don't understand it. Like, I don't think it's impossible to have one that's decent. I just don't get it. And for me, the wigs. Why are the wigs so bad? Like, first of all, can you not commit for your characters to dye their hair, maybe? But second of all, hire some black women to come to Japan and teach you about lace fronts. Because then wigs just look like you got it from Tokyo Toys. Like, I'm tired. How would you have this, like, big production that costs bare money, and then the main actor's in some Party City wig that looks ridiculous? Like, it just annoys me. And the outfits look like Comic-Con. Like, they don't even look like no. I know I'm being rude. But like, I just don't get why you wouldn't put put the time in, because I think it's possible to make some of this stuff excellent.
Yeah.
But that's on the Japanese end, to be honest, because the Japanese have their own style of, like, when they do live actions, which usually involve the bad wigs and stuff. But then we have our ones where we, like, want to change the whole, like the Western ones, we want to change the whole like plot. So like the Dragon Ball one, which
that
was an abomination. And then like Death Note, I haven't seen it. Death Note, so I'm not going to be unfair.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be unfair and cuss it because I ain't seen it.
Yeah.
But when I saw the trailer, I was like, why do you have to make the main character white? Like, why do you always do that, man? Like, why can't he still be Japanese American? You know what I mean? Like, you got to just, so... And then Elle was black, which was interesting. And Lakeith played Elle. And I was like, Lakeith, man, like, I like you, but what is this? Like, what's going on? So anyway, that's my rant. But I just look. I would like to see one that's good, but so far, I haven't.
I just can't comprehend like why they're so bad. Like for instance, for me, Death Note, that should have been incredible. Like the story
Yeah,
is so
yeah,
perfect, and
yeah.
that gets my nerves. Like it's so perfect, but they messed it up. Like I didn't finish the movie. I think I watched like 20 minutes of it, and I had to give up. Had so much hope. Like I liked the trailer as well. I thought the trailer really intrigued me. I was like, oh, okay, then Netflix might have done it, but no, yeah.
Hold out hope. Hopefully,
I like hope.
one day I hope someone will get it right. Otherwise, leave them alone. Let's just enjoy the anime and leave it alone. You know.
I mean, like we have amazing like comic book movies, so I don't understand why we don't have like amazing like anime.
That's true. Very good point. Very good point. That's a very good point. I never thought about it like that. That's yeah, it's possible. That shows perfectly that it's possible. So what's wrong? What's the problem then? Is it budget? Is it the team? What's going on? I wonder.
I think if we use like the example of Marvel Studios, like Kevin Feige's like he's the head honcho, and
Okay.
at heart he's like a diehard kind of like comic book fan. And I don't think these productions kind of have an executive producer who's an actual fan of the product. And maybe that's just my take on it. Maybe that could be the issue.
You're probably right. You're probably right, to be honest. I think if your heart's not in it and you don't truly have that in you, then it's a cash grab, innit? Because you know it's likely that people are going to watch it in some shape or form. So you know you're going to get the paper, but do you care about the art form and how it's been represented, how it's represented the series? I guess. Yeah, you're probably right.
Okay, Jameisha. It has been fun.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. Before we go, where can people find you on social media?
So you can find me on all platforms at You Look Okay to Me. So every platform is the same.
Okay, and I'll leave that in the description down below. Okay, see you soon.
Thank you.